And welcome to the final Inside Iowa Politics before Iowa's June 4th primary. I am Gray Television's Iowa Political Director Dave Price. This week we are going to focus on one of the key matchups to watch on June 4th, and that is this first congressional district Republican primary matchup. You have Dr. Marinette Miller-Meeks. She's the incumbent congresswoman from the area. She's an eye doctor by trade. She was a state senator and the director of the Iowa Department of Public Health. She is going against her Republican challenger, David Pouch. He's a businessman from Davenport. Now, the first is a swing district, that southeast quadrant of our state. And one of the issues, there are several in this, but one of the differences between these two people would be how they view what's going on in Ukraine. Miller-Meeks has supported Congress's efforts to provide U.S. taxpayer aid for Ukraine to defend itself against this Russian invasion. Pouch is one of these that claims there is no reason for the U.S. to be involved in this. But it's not just that he opposes Miller-Meeks, it is how he expresses his opposition.
The mafia over there with the Nazis and all the corrupt Ukrainian officials have been feeding off the corruption there and the laundering of money. It's a situation we are supporting the wrong people over there. The Ukrainian people, good bunch. Leadership over there just corrupt to the core.
Why is it that, to my knowledge, everybody in the Iowa delegation, who are all Republicans, they all support U.S. aiding Ukraine? Why are they all wrong?
Because they're all weak. They are weak. They are compromised. They don't have a spine. They all ought to be put out of office. It's absolutely disgusting. Every last one of them is in a situation where they don't know how to speak and stand up for the truth. It's just embarrassing. But we need people who are strong, who actually have a clear conscience and aren't going to be waffling on these obvious issues. Like, for example, the FISA bill. All four of these geniuses voted for the extension of the FISA Act, which allows the government, it's supposed to be about spying on foreign entities, but no, it's been used to over 278,000 times to spy on us. But they think it's like they've never even read the Constitution. That's one thing that makes a person strong, makes them a man or woman of principle. You know what the Constitution says. I don't even know if they've ever read the Constitution. I would hope so. But
you're also talking about the United States senators here. Senator
Absolutely.
Ernst, who's a combat veteran, Senator Grassley, you're saying they're cowards?
I'm saying that they hide behind their veteran status. Joni, it's a disgrace the way she wobbles and vacillates. And Grassley, in his old age, he's making some crazy votes. He's got an F score from the Liberty Group, an absolute F score rating. And Joni is right behind him with a D rating. So is Meeks with a D rating, about 62, 63%. So we got a bunch of people. I don't care if they're veterans or not. Just because you are a veteran does not make you automatically strong. They vote like they are weak and compromised. And we just can't put up with this stuff. But they act like they've never even read the Fourth Amendment, which protects us against unlawful search and seizure without warrants. It's a no-brainer. You don't legislate the Constitution just out of existence and its effectiveness. It's just intolerable.
This does not end with Ukraine, number one. Number two, Iran is watching what happens, and so is the Chinese Communist Party and Xi Jinping. So I think when you look at that axis of evil, when you look at the geopolitics of the region, it is a very dangerous time for us to try to sit back and be isolationists. It is very similar to what happened in 1938.
Your Republican opponent alleges that you and our entire delegation, our House members, and both United States senators are essentially corrupt for your support here. You're supporting a corrupt regime, he is claiming, in Ukraine, and you're not showing the courage to end this. How do you respond to that?
I think the way to end this is to use the leverage that Zelensky now has with the funding from the United States. We do not have boots on the ground. We are providing weapons for them to fight a war and to defend their own sovereignty, and for which we already have an agreement that we would help to protect their sovereignty. None of us want boots on the ground, but to say that we're corrupt, there is corruption in Ukraine. If you knew about the country and you knew what they were doing, they have put through tremendous efforts to reduce corruption. And some of these claims of corruption come from Russian propaganda as well. Geopolitical alliance and what happens. What happens if Vladimir Putin is able to take over Ukraine? He will not stop at Ukraine. There is Poland, Romania, Lithuania, Latvia. We train, as you know, the Kosovo Army in Iowa with our National Guard. I've spoken with them. Serbia is already on the border at Kosovo. Kosovo knows that Serbia is trying to provoke them to coming across the border so they can declare war on Kosovo. This is not this simple issue between these two countries, and we don't have anything to do with it. Our national security is at risk as well by what is happening currently in Europe.
Time now for the final five. Number one, language. If you listen to all of this conversation with David Pauch, you will hear this almost apocalyptic style talking about certain things like save our country. It's almost biblical good versus evil. And you're hearing more of this among some Republicans who are running for office. That is something I'm not sure that I have ever heard before in politics. Number two, November. I'm curious how this type of language will resonate with the middle of the road folks as we start to think about where the independents will go in these November election matchups. Number three, Vladimir Putin, the leader of Russia. For a long time, Americans have viewed him as kind of an enemy, a dictator, a person accused of murdering his political opponents. But there is a segment in the Republican Party that doesn't seem to share this sentiment right now. And whether it's more people, whether it's just the loudest voices, you are seeing more people, it seems like, at least amplified on the side of Russia when it comes to some things. That also seems to be a change. Number four, patience. How patient will the American people be when it comes to providing billions of tax dollars to Ukraine in its defense of Russia? This has been going on for more than 2 years now. And finally, the primary, Tuesday night's contest. We just talked about this first district congressional race, but there's also one in the 4th congressional district, 2 Republicans there, Randy Feenstra, the incumbent, Kevin Virgil, his challenger. At the end of the night, I'll be looking at the margins. How close will these things be? And what will those results say about the direction that Iowa Republicans want to see for this country and for their party? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Tuesday night.